overall year. And
Ako yan. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. Mic test one, two, three. Mic test one, two, three. Mic test. Mic test one, two, three. Mic test one, two, three. Good morning. Mic test. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Please be settled on your comfortable seats as we're about to begin. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this webinar. An investment in knowledge, pay the best interest by Benjamin Franklin. To our school's division superintendent, Edelberto L. Oplinaria, our assistant schools division superintendent, Dr. Rosemary T. Masesar, our SJOD Chief, Dr. Maria Carmela T. Ablin, our CID Chief, Dr. Maria Eva S. Edon, Administrative Officer, Armando B. Pasok, CID and SJOD personnel in attendance, section heads, participants to this webinar, good morning, everyone. I am Jennifer R. Intong, and it is my pleasure to be your host today. I appreciate your time taking off your busy schedules to join us today. I hope you participate and will learn a lot today. We have lined up activities for you to be fruitful and engaging. So without much further ado, I would like to request everyone to please stand for our national anthem and please remain standing for our prayer.
اللهم يا من على العرش استوى يا فسوى وقدر فهدى وأعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى وأحيا وأسعد وأشقى وأوجد وأبلى ورفع وخفض وأعز وأذل وأعونع ورفع ووضع سبحان من شق البحار وأجرى الأنهار وكور النهار على الليل والليل على النهار يا من هدى من ضلاله وأنقذ من جهاله وأنار الأبصار وأحيا الضمائر والأفكار اللهم وفقنا لهداك واجعل عملنا في رضاك اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه
Dear God, we praise and honor you as the Lord of our lives and the Lord over all the earth and beyond. We pray, O God, for your mercy and forgiveness, especially in times when we forget you and fail to follow your word. O God, we thank you for coming into our lives and remind, pray, and believe for all that we have, our lives, our work, our families, our neighbors, our co-workers, our friends, and even those against us, for whom we also pray. Thank you, O God, as one family, as one department of education. Teach us to serve you and your people without counting cost. Teach us to humble ourselves in the name of public service and serve others above our personal interests. And help us to put our faith in action and see you in everything we do, especially our learners, the heart of the guide and lead our learners, teachers, administrators, and staff, family, community, and stakeholders to become faithful to our core values of makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa, and allow us to contribute to building the nation and to make us worthy stewards of all your creation. We bring back all the glory and honor to you, O Lord, our God. Amen.
Okay, good morning once again, and welcome to today's webinar on the orientation and the pilot implementation of induction program for beginning teachers. Before going further, I would like to give you our SGOD Chief, Dr. Maria Carmela T. Ablin, for her opening remarks. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, Jen. So, greetings of peace and goodwill to our school's division superintendent, Edilberto L. Oprinaria, CESA 5, our assistant schools division superintendent, Dr. Rosemary Masasar, to the CID chief, Maria Eva S. Idon, the public school district supervisors in attendance, the school administrators, teachers, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Ipbt fully supports the continuing professional development and progress of the newly hired teachers based on the principle of lifelong learning and the department to the development of new and beginning teachers. In line with guiding and assisting our newly hired teachers, our division takes the lead in conducting this orientation on the pilot implementation of induction program for beginning teachers. We are hopeful that through this orientation, we would be able to impart to you the implementing guidelines, especially on procedures, rules, and responsibilities, and also acquaint you with the processes of the Professional Development Information System, or the PDIS. As we embark on our journey, dear teachers, we just wish that you continually reflect the standards on teaching processes that are consistent with the DepEd's core values, makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at mabansa. So on behalf of our schools division superintendent, I would like to welcome all of you to this virtual orientation on the pilot implementation of induction program for beginning teachers. May you gain valuable knowledge at the end of this training and go back to your stations with renewed commitment and dedication. Have a good day, everyone, and once again, good morning.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief Ablin, for that message. This time, to give us the statement of purpose, I will give to you our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Rosemary Cesar. Good morning, ma'am.
A happy Tuesday to all of us. To our schools division superintendent, Dr. Idelberto L. Oplenaria, sir. To our SGOD chief, Dr. Maria Carmela Tumpong Ablin. To our CID chief, Maria Eva Saire Idon. Of course, to our um, PSDSS, EPSS, school heads, and our SGOD personnel, especially Ma'am Jennifer Intong and Sir Dongjong Pangasian, as well as the uh, other personnel of the SGOD, and of course, to you, our dear teachers, newly hired teachers who are the participants of this orientation. Once again, a happy Tuesday. So my task is to read to you the rationale for why we are having this teacher induction program. Schools worldwide use induction programs to support new teachers in their first years of teaching by way of contributing to their sense of well-being and professional development. A good induction program addresses the important issues of transition from being a pre-service teacher when you were still students, diba, you had your practice teaching. Those years, those times when you were a practice teacher, those were considered as pre-service uh, teaching experience to being a full-fledged teacher, and sets the tone for a teacher's personal and professional identity. It should assist the beginning teacher to understand the responsibilities to students, the public, and the profession. Beginning teachers need to continue to develop their own personal and professional philosophy, what it means to be a professional teacher. So DepEd Order number 43, series of 2017, or the Teacher Induction Program policy, is issued to serve as a guide in the implementation of the Teacher Induction Program. The program is institutionalized, meaning this Teacher Induction Program is not only for Lanao, but this is for the whole country, and they designed a book, a sort of a module, wherein all the things that are to be taken up during teacher induction program are there. So that means whatever inputs during the teacher induction program, it is the same throughout the country, and it has its purpose. So the program is institutionalized to provide a systematic and system for teacher inductees in order to seamlessly immerse them to the teaching profession in the public school system. Based on the results of the study conducted, there are several considerations and concerns raised by the respondents as regards the implementation of the PIP may be considered for policy enhancement. In 2019, following the provision of DepEd Order number 11, 2019, the implementation of the NAIAP transformation, NAIAP is mandated to take charge of the design and delivery of programs supporting teachers and school leaders. This will include the teacher induction program. It was further recommended that NAIAP assume full responsibility for the teacher induction program through establishing policies and support materials to build capacity of in-school mentors and coaches and enhance peer observation skills and strengthen the learning action cells. So those are the rationale behind the teacher induction program. My dear newly hired teachers, so you are very lucky because before you were fielded or a few months or a year after you were fielded, you are you are already given this orientation, and you are properly guided as to how you will do your job, because we don't have this, and you should be thankful to the Department of Education for giving this. And by the way, this, as I read earlier, this teacher induction program is under the supervision now of the National Educators Academy of the Philippines. They will be the ones to develop those, to guide you on how you are going to do your job as a teacher through the years. So I hope that whatever will be taken up today, you will listen very well, because this will really help you as a new teacher in the department. New doesn't necessarily mean that you are recently hired a month ago or 2 months ago. But I understand there are some pila na months or even a year, but we're not able to attend this one. But nevertheless, even if you have already a few months or a year's experience, or for those of you who have been in the private schools before, the things that will be taken up are very useful, because our National Educators Academy of the Philippines really made sure that whatever they will include in this orientation will help you, especially in your growth professionally as a teacher. So thank you, and in advance, I would like to congratulate and thank you, the SGOD led by Dr. Ablin, for always giving us this kind of seminars or orientations to uplift the morale and to make our teachers grow properly, especially also to Ma'am Jennifer Intong and Sir Jongjong. So, and for those who are attending this, our teachers, thank you in advance for staying and attending this orientation, and congratulations also in advance, especially if you will listen from the very beginning up to the end of this orientation. So once again, a happy Tuesday, and God bless us all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rosemary Team Assessor. So before going further, I would like to inform everyone that these are the things that we will be discussing this morning. First is the walkthrough on the implementing guidelines, specifically on procedures, rules, and responsibilities, and its timeline. Next, the professional development information system also be discussed, and the professional development learning management as well. So before getting started, I would like to inform everyone you will have the opportunity to submit your questions. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will just collect this and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. So you may type your questions on the chat box on the YouTube. So brace yourself and let us now begin.
Are you ready for this? To give us the general procedures and timeline of the orientation, let us welcome one of the focals of Ipbt, Enhanced T, Ms. Richie Carla Visagas.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Let me just check. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Miss Peachy.
Hello, good morning. Oh, all right. So, DT for the spotlight, I'm using Sir June's account. There you go. And so there was a recent problem with my laptop camera. All right. So once again, good morning, everyone. So thank you po sa mga sumagot sa chat box natin for confirming and may video and audio this morning. All right. So once again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat and thank you for attending our orientation today. All right. So for today, I'll just briefly go through yung some of our procedures and then later on po, no, hihimay-himayin po natin ang ating years 1, 2, and 3. All right. So last December or early January, we were able to release, as Director John has mentioned, yung ating draft implementing guides for induction program for beginning teachers or what we have our enhanced teacher induction program. Right. So sa start po ng ating procedures and that time, there will be a series of orientation. Ginagawa natin ngayon, what we are doing today is the jump start of that. So ating series of orientations, we would start with the regional implementers. That's what we are doing now. And we are expected to cascade this to our division implementers, although we also have division representatives today. Ayan. And then another set of orientation for our school heads and mentors before we go through our implementation of the enhanced PIP in each of our schools. Ayan. So, for our timeline po, no, since ito ang ating pilot implementation, yung series of orientations natin, pag natapos po tayo ngayon, you could plan and start maybe around until March. We understand na marami din po tayong ginagawa. That's why nagbigay po tayo ng tentative timeline for the orientations until March. And then later on, Sir Levy from RCTQ will go through the procedures and course books for year 1. Ideally, ang timeline po natin to finish the modules, since ito po ay self-paced and should be completed by teachers with their mentors or by going through their LAC sessions. Hopefully po by June 2022, they will be done with the year 1 course books already. And so next. Okay, so once again, NAIP Central Official organize and lead a nationwide orientation program. Ang ganda po siguro kung nag-face-to-face tayo, no? But since we have our limitations, we're doing it online now. And then Regional Office shall lead the orientation program for division implementers and so on. Right, next. Right, so the school heads naman natin shall oversee the implementation of IPBT in their respective schools. So one feature of the enhanced TIP is really the presence of mentors, as Director Gina has mentioned kanina and also Director John. This is our beginning teachers or newly hired teachers would feel supported and guided. At orientation ng ating course books last November, I think most of you were also able to attend that one. Meron po tayong kasamang introduction to TIP. So that's actually the guidebook. And then later on, Sir Levy will also, from RCTQ, will also go through some of the parts para mas maging clear po ang ating mentors how they are going to assist our newly hired teachers. And a certificate of completion will be issued to successful inductees upon the completion of the program. Later on, we will explain that when they go finish the course books, parang may certificate of completion of the course books po silang matatanggap. But that's different when our teachers have completely finished the program after 3 years. Certificates will be during the completion ceremony, and we expect them to be finished with the entire program, not just yung ating course books, no, after 3 years. Right, next. Okay, so again, in the first year, newly hired with the guidance of the mentors will accomplish 6 course books. We were able to cascade already our new course books last November, as well as the LDM modules mainstream into IPBT. as Director Jim has mentioned earlier, we are already in, in a changing time. So, suppose na naging response natin to help our teachers cope was that nag-mainstream po tayo ng ating LDM modules. And so later on, makikita po natin kung saan natin ipapasok ito. Yan. So to further discuss how our teachers are gonna go through year one of our enhanced TIP, may I call on Sir Levi Elipane from RCTQ.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Levi Alipane, Senior Program Manager from the Research Center for Teacher Quality, and I will be discussing or giving a run through on what you will be able to do for the first year of the Teacher Induction Program, or the Ipbt, or we call it the Enhanced TIP. So the next slide will give us a diagrammatic illustration of what's going to happen for the entire year. So this is some sort of a timeline. So there are 6 core courses for the TIP or the Ipbt. But as you see, it starts with an orientation. It commences with an orientation, and it should be finished by around 1 year, or by June 2022, it must already be done. But since this is, newly hired teachers and mentors must be able to together and how they will be able to complete the courses. So as you will see, as the different courses are being engaged in or being done by the newly hired teachers, the mentors are also there together, working hand in hand and collaboratively with the newly hired teachers in being able to complete the courses. So this is for the newly hired teachers to be given some sort of support so that this year is the first year of their work as teachers in the Department of Education. Is a very exciting year, and we don't want them to feel uninspired. So having the mentors with them, or working with them collaboratively in these courses, would allow them to feel inspired and to have the feeling of belongingness in the Department of Education. As you see, a lot of processes that we have been doing, we will be doing here in this in Budneyap and in the Department of Education is very much ecosystem based. So what we do is being, for example, when the new hired teachers complete a certain course, this will be reported via MNE by the mentors, and then the regional directors will have some, and the division leaders and the regional directors will have some role in this. So the mentors have a very important role in this. So there are 6 different courses, and we are also trying to streamline this with the LDM because of the context of the pandemic. So there are different activities and experiences. Once again, Director John was talking about not only having the knowledge and concepts that we need to be equipped as newly hired teachers in the Department of Education, but at the same time, it's all about experience. So there are different requirements and different outputs and different activities that teachers would have to do within different courses. And there are also activities that they have to do after finishing every course. And this is the time when the mentors are actually certified checking the work of newly hired teachers. So after course 6, the mentors will be giving or will be submitting the forms to NAEAP already. So let's zero in on each of the different courses, on how you will be able to go about the different courses. Let's proceed to the next slide, please. Okay, so in one course, we can actually, set our schedule. So first we have setting of coaching and mentoring schedule. So here the mentor and the mentee, or the newly hired teachers, would agree or make an arrangement on the schedule of their TIP coaching and mentoring session. So if you will divide it, so since this is self-paced, so if, for example, we have 10 months or 12 months for the entire year, you may divide the 6 courses into the whole year into 6 courses. So maybe at the maximum, you may have 2 months in finishing or completing one course. Okay, but if you're considering practically that there are only 10 months for the actual school year, then just divide it. So maybe we can have just a bit more than 1 month to finish, okay, or to complete one particular course. But then again, this is self-paced, so this will all depend on you. So it will be very important that the mentors and the newly hired teachers will be able to set an arrangement or set a coaching and mentoring schedule on how they will go about it. Because after all, the mentors will have a very important. Next is the accomplishment of the course book. Here, the mentee answers the course books with coaching and mentoring sessions, or maybe within lab sessions sometimes in between. So the mentor checks the course books at the same time. Newly ask or seek for some guidance and some assistance on how some of the items or some of the activities in the TIP course books would be done. And then after being able to come up with the accomplishment of the course books, there will be a short exit quiz, or this is a summative assessment, wherein the newly hired teacher accomplishes an online quiz and a passing score of 80% is required to pass the course. So we will discuss this a bit more later on. And aside from the different activities that newly hired teachers would be doing, there are some requirements that we need for the portfolio completion. So the activities and some of the outputs that we do as we accomplish the course books, we will put it in the portfolio. Okay, and the mentees compiles required portfolio outputs and the screenshot of the summative assessment quiz score afterwards. So after completing the portfolio and having a certificate actually of passing the exit quiz, this can be submitted already to the mentors, and the certification of course completion will be given already for one course. So here, the mentor checks the requirements and signs a certificate of completion before the mentee could proceed to the next course. And again, the copies of the links for the courses, or when you do it offline, the copies of the booklets or the 4 courses will be given to you by your mentors. So your mentors are very important. So let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, so I will be reading through the different course requirements. So in order to finish the course, the following are required. Okay, so there will be some requirements, and I will be also reading through how it will be accomplished. So for example, in the exit quizzes, a score of at least 80% in the online summative test is necessary. So the exit quiz is only online. And this will be accomplished through the PDLMS, and a certificate will be automatically generated. Okay, and it will be issued right after taking the summative test. So if you would not be able to get 80%, you will still be given a chance to redo the test. Okay, so redo the exit quiz. You will be given about a week to redo or to take the quiz again, so that you will be given time to review some more or to talk with your mentor on how you will be able to improve your performance for the exit quiz. So these exit quizzes are not very long. This is only a 15 multiple choice items. Okay, now aside from the quizzes, we have the portfolio requirements. Each course has required outputs to be submitted and compiled in a portfolio. And this is indicated in the course book. So we put there if it's a portfolio requirement or not. Next is the accomplished course book checked by the mentor. The mentor checks the course book after each module is accomplished. It will also be a good time for mentorship and for newly hired teachers to ask for clarifications. Okay, let's proceed to the next slide. So for the newly hired teachers will be given a course book. It could be via a link or a physical course book or booklet, and the mentors will also be given the same, specifically for the mentors. So in answering the course books, the TIP course books are designed to be self-paced. Mentees will be given deadlines on when they should accomplish a course, but they have control over when they are most comfortable to accomplish them. So again, this is self-paced, and most of the activities that will be done by the newly hired teachers are job embedded. These are things that they will actually do in their profession as beginning teachers or teachers in the Department of Education. So we deem that the contents and activities that we do for TIP would be empowering and at the same time something that is beneficial for the teachers. The estimated time required and the list of required tasks per course or one module in one sitting. So as I said, you may just pace yourself in a span of 1 year. You may finish or you may complete one particular course in maybe 2 months, and then bawi na lang kayo in the next month, or maybe finish another course in 1 month, depending on your pace. But then again, always consider making arrangements with your mentors because you will be working hand in hand together. Let's proceed to the next slide. So required resources and optional readings are also listed at the beginning of each module. So at the beginning of each course, you would already be aware of what requirements are necessary. Okay, there are also optional readings that you need not really complete. Okay, but these will be very helpful. So links to repository of resources would be provided. The course books have required and optional tasks. Mentees should answer the required tasks as they are designed to help them better understand the key topics and sometimes provide opportunities to apply their learning. Optional tasks enable them to explore the topics more and enrich their understanding. Some required tasks involve outputs to be compiled in the TIP portfolio. So not all the tasks, not all the required tasks will be required in the TIP portfolio. There are just some of them. Okay, so for example, sample lesson plan. So this will be needed in the TIP portfolio. Let's proceed to the next slide. So how about answering the course books? The course books have a variety of activities which may be accomplished through individual work, collaboration with co-newly hired teacher, session with a mentor, or even learning action cells. So there will be different ways on how we would be able to accomplish the different tasks. It is recommended that a mentor and mentee establish a schedule for the TIP catch-up or mentoring session, and also for the LAC session with other newly hired teachers in the schools. Okay, there might be some possibilities where in one school there's only one newly hired teacher, so we would have to do some arrangements on this. Okay, so maybe they would have to, since we can do things online, the newly hired teachers may collaborate with other newly hired teachers to talk about it. Again, we would want the newly hired teachers to be in some sort of a nurturing ecology or in a community of practice so that they will not feel alone along the way. So this is one of the main features of the teacher induction program. Let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, depending on the agreed schedule, the course book will be checked by the mentor to monitor progress. So monitoring and evaluation is also, again, a big part of this program because we are working on in an ecosystems approach. Here, the mentors provide inputs and resources and answer possible concerns. After having the course book checked by the mentor, the mentee could already access and answer the summative assessment in the PDLMS. Okay, let's proceed. So in answering the summative test, mentees need to score at least 80% or 12 or above in the 15-item quiz. So this is a 15-item quiz, multiple choice. You need to be able to have 12 correct answers or more. So after taking the quiz, mentees will get a certificate of completion, which will be included in their portfolio. So you might need to get a screenshot, but if you somehow forget to take a screenshot of your scores, a certificate will be automatically generated, and you might have to print it so that you can include it in the portfolio. Okay. So how do we prepare the portfolio? The TIP portfolio is a compilation of all the portfolio outputs required for each course. So again, not all activities would be included in the portfolio. So there will just be some that will be identified. The number of outputs varies from one course to another. For example, in course 1, there might just be two outputs needed for the portfolio. In course 2, there might be 3, but it depends. Sometimes there might only be one portfolio output, okay, for each course. The number of outputs varies from one course to another, and this will serve as a final requirement for the course completion. It also includes your summative assessment proof of score. The portfolio may either be physical compilation or an e-portfolio, as agreed upon by the school management or by the mentor and mentee. Okay, let's continue. So at the end of each course, the mentor checks the portfolio outputs and then records the summative assessment score. The mentor will sign a form certifying the mentee's completion of the course. So the mentees are doing a lot of things for the M&E, okay, for the monitoring and evaluation. The mentee should compile these in the portfolio, and this will be part of the requirements for the TIP Year 1 completion. Okay, so after this, we are now going to the completion. When we're already done with all the 6 courses, the course completion, the portfolio. Upon completion of requirement, the TIP course book. Okay, let's continue. So for the TIP Year 1 completion, at the end of TIP Year 1, a mentee's portfolio should contain the following already. Portfolio outputs from the 6 courses, courses 1 to 6, summative assessment certificates of completion for the 6 courses, courses 1 to 6, and certificates of completion for courses 1 to 6. So since there are 6 different courses, so you will have 6 different exit quizzes and 6 different portfolio outputs for each of the courses. So you will compile all of these together, and this will be the final requirement for the completion of TIP Year 1. Okay. Induction program. So to make it more formal, aside from coaching, mentoring, and monitoring the progress of newly hired teachers, mentors are also expected to regularly report to the school head on progress updates, challenges encountered in the conduct of concerns. The school head then reports to the team division coordinators, who also submit reports to the R, or the NAEP regional office. So it passes through the mentor school level, and it will pass through the school head also, and the TIP division coordinators, and finally to the NAEP. M&E form templates are included in the TIP package. So let's look at a template. Okay, so the TIP certificate of completion template. So this is the certification of course completion. For example, course 1. This is to certify that teacher who won, a new teacher from a particular school, accomplished course, okay, 1 of the teacher induction program, successfully completing the following requirements. So again, it will be for the accomplished TIP course books. The course books sort of they look like, okay, there were the that you would have to do. You also have the certification that you have passed the quiz, and of course the portfolio outputs. Okay, so the mentor will say that he or she has started to the next course, or he or she may proceed to year 2 of the program if the teacher is already finished. Okay, so this is the template for certificate of completion. Now we proceed to the different M&E forms. There will be different M&E forms for the school head, the division coordinator, and the NAEP-R. For the school head, this will be what's written. Of course, we will have the demographics, and then we will have the different courses here. And we if you look at part 2, the progress monitoring. Okay, so here you have enumerated the 6 different core courses, and you have here the date accomplished, and the summative assessment course, and the remarks. So this will be by end of the TIP Year 1, but this could be done rarely. Okay, in case of more than 1 newly hired teacher being monitored, we can add subsections. For example, part 2A, part 2B, part 2C for each of the newly hired teachers. We would be also asking for some of the ideas or thoughts on how TIP was undergone. Okay, so you will also look at the strengths and areas where your mentees need improvement. We will be also asking about some concerns or issues that happened during the implementation. Okay, so this we will be needing data for this because again, for monitoring and evaluation, we want to be able to make our systems, okay, and our processes even better. So you will be able to help us in being able to improve the program by filling out or by completing all these forms. Let's proceed to the next M&E form, this time for the school heads. And this will be submitted to the division TIP coordinator at the end of UP. So here, we will be asking you already to summarize the names of the new teachers together with the names of the mentors and then the accomplishment dates and the remarks. Okay, so this is already submitted to the TIP coordinator. So almost the same questions on the implementation, but this time around on the different progress on TIP. Okay, and then we will also have a sample of the M&E form for for the next one to be submitted to the NAEP-R. Okay? Yeah. So monitor evaluation for the IP division coordinator. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to say it, but this will be done by the division coordinators to be submitted to NAEP-R. Here we are just talking about numbers already. How many can have some remarks? And again, to the right side, we're getting some qualitative information or qualitative data on how we would be able to improve the process. We will be looking at different issues and okay. So again, to end this is how the different core courses for TIP would look like. There will be 6 different courses. They will be color coded. And once again, if you have questions, we will address them later. So thank you so much for listening. And I would like to bring you back again to Ma'am Richie, okay, for the different processes. Ma'am Richie?
All right, so thank you, Sir Levy, for going through our year 1 procedures. I hope that yung instructions and procedures natin for year 1 was clearly understood by our regional and division focus today. So before we go to our roles and responsibilities, I would just like to continue what's going to happen after year 1. All right, so for our implementing guidelines for years 2 and 3, what's majorly different this time is that wala na pong course books ang ating beginning teachers, but we have other mechanisms such as coaching and mentoring, our job-embedded learning, and differentiated supervision. So lahat ng ito, as well as our LAC sessions and formal classroom observations, these will be utilized by mentors and school leaders to guide and support our beginning teachers. And sa pag-explain ni Sir Levy kanina, for year 1, our teachers have their separate PIP portfolio, right? But for year 2 and year 3, the portfolio of our newly hired teachers will be embedded in the RTMS. So hindi na po separate ang kanilang portfolio for years 2 and 3. And then after year 3, that's when our beginning teachers will have their completion ceremony. So in case a beginning teacher was not able to complete this entire program due to unforeseen circumstances, he or she must be given an extension not exceeding 3 months to finish the program. Alright. Okay, so we can see that we already have questions, Q&A portion. Right, so that's it for the years 2 and 3. Now we will be going to our roles and responsibilities. Miss Riza?
All right. All right, thank you so much, Sir Levy and Ms. Ritchie, for your comprehensive discussions. We are glad to inform our participants, who are now 319, that we'll send you the copies of the presentation and our recording. Just make sure you've accomplished the attendance and evaluation. Let us now move on to the discussion of the roles and responsibilities, which will be rendered to us by another Ipbt focal person, Mr. Jason Peñafiel.
morning, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Lisa, for the introduction. I was tasked to discuss the roles and responsibilities of various governance levels as regards the teacher induction program, the enhanced teacher induction program. Right, so let me first discuss the roles and responsibilities of the NAIAB Central Office. I guess we have 8 R&Rs. So the first one is coordinate with other central office bureaus, then develop or revise the CIP course books. We have to ensure that the funds are available in each particular program. Then we also provide technical assistance to NAIAP or the HRDD in the implementation of this program. Then we conduct overall M&E as a policy owner. Then we also provide technical assistance to regional quad in terms of M&E. And then we submit report to appropriate authorities as may be required. Sometimes Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives are asking for report. The professional development of our want to do that report. And then in terms of regional NAIAP, so it shall serve as the coordinator in the region, and they lead the implementation of PIP in the region. Then they are the coordinators, and then provide technical assistance to the division of. So some of these roles and responsibilities, I guess you're already familiar kasi some of these are derived from the audit method, though may mga bagong provisions. Alright, so in terms of the CLMD, EFTAD and Quad, yan po yung kanilang mga roles and responsibilities. Alright, so CLMD provides TA in terms of content and pedagogies. EFTAD provides TA in terms of coaching and mentoring as necessary. Then quality assurance, they assess and evaluate the implementation of the program in the region. Then sa SDOs naman po tayo, yan po yung mga roles and responsibilities ng ating SDS and ng ating ASDS. So parang ating ASDS ang organizer ng ating PIP or Ipbt management team. And then sa ASDS naman, of course, ay ang ating co-lead sa planning and implementation of PIP in the schools together with our HRD chiefs. Alright, so ano gagawin ng ating mga HRD steps sa SGOD? Collect and consolidate data, prospective data, the school head, mentors, and mentors about the PIP-related processes in the SDOs. Ayan, punta na tayo sa school head na medyo madugo. Ang dami natin.
Oral and silent.
School head, ayan po. So our school heads will lead the implementation, of course, of the school. They provide orientation on Ipbt. Then they should show an appreciation of the mentoring relationship. They support, encourage, and guide the newly hired teachers. Then they should be involved in the selection of mentors. Then they should also facilitate opportunities for partners to collaborate.
Once again, we'll be sending you copies of the presentation as well as the recording. Just make sure that you've accomplished the evaluation or the attendance and the evaluation. Go ahead, Sir Jason.
Facilitate opportunities for partners to collaborate. Then school heads ensure consistency of the program. Huwag lang doon sa after orientation, tapos na, wala nang follow-up kay teacher, wala nang progress monitoring, etc. Malungkot yun. So wag po natin, sana wala tayong makita ganun sa implementation natin ng MCI. And then consider your teacher assignments carefully. Right? Now, the roles of the mentors are the following. Ayan po. So, attend the orientation for in-school mentors, meet with the beginning teacher, and familiarize the PIP course books. Nung unang PIP natin, surprised din ako kasi sabi ng mga master teachers, sir, hindi rin po namin alam yung laman ng modules. No? So ngayon, sinigurado namin na alam na to ng mga mentors kasi magkakaroon din sila ng orientation. Then collaborates with the beginning teacher to provide support in completing the courses and in finishing the 3-year program. Talagang binigyan din ko no, na yung program natin ay 3 years, not 3 days or 3 months. Then provide insight, support, guidance, advice, encouragement, information, and reflection. Then they also assist in solving problems through coaching and mentoring, then provide feedback and act as role model. Ito naman ang mga roles ni newly hired teachers. So these are the roles and responsibilities of the newly hired teachers. So they attend the Ipbt orientation. They should finish the Ipbt course books and complete the required outputs. Then they should participate in the Ipbt activities. They meet regularly with their mentors. Pero siyempre, depende sa schedule na kanila na pagkasunduan. Then, they solicit advice, then attend the other in-service training throughout the program, and participate in the evaluation. Magawa natin kasi itong letter G kasi, siyempre, bilang policy owner, kailangan din namin ng feedback galing sa baba, sa mga teachers na para ma-improve pa yung program sa mga susunod na taon. Then, in terms of organizing the in-school mentoring, ito po tayo. The beginning teachers will be provided self-learning course books to be completed with one school year, gaya na na-discuss kanina. Then, online, but school heads or school leaders will give hard copies of the course book. Of course, depending on the availability of the budget. And then the lock and in-school mentoring should be utilized to support the teachers undertaking the guided self-study. And then differentiated supervision and formal classroom observation will be provided by the school heads and mentors as well. Alright, so parang yung old PIP po, meron din tayo differentiated supervision. Meron din dito sa enhanced teacher induction program. Alright, so the mentor is ito yung mga qualification naman natin para sa mga mentor. Is a department head or a key teacher who is assigned to orient, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then mentoring includes the intellectual, moral, and emotional support given by more experienced teacher. Meron kasi kaming case na FGD kami nung, I guess that's 2018. Yung newly hired teacher, ang kanyang mentor ay 2 years pa lang sa service, something like that. So, I don't know what happened. No? So, nakakalungkot yun. Kasi parang, di ba, you are... Anyway. And then, next one is through one-on-one mentoring, whether face-to-face or virtual, the mentors will guide the newly hired teachers in completing the courses, applying the KSA that they have learned, and then continue the learning process, and then improve their teaching practices as stipulated in the professional standards for teachers or the PDIS. Alright, so for Ipbt, the school heads may assign mentors to beginning teachers based on subject areas, grade levels, and even personal compatibility. Ayan, alam na po ng school head yan. Assumption natin na ang ibibigay na mentor kay mentee ay talaga magkakasundo sila. We hope. No? Yeah. Let's be positive. Kasi mayroon akong so sana walang ganito sa CIP. Alright, as partners, the mentor, the beginning teacher, the mentor will be provided with the support, guidance, and mentorship. So, ito yung mga qualification naman natin para sa mga mentor. Is a department head or a key teacher who is assigned to orient, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then mentoring includes the intellectual, moral, and emotional support given by more experienced teacher. Meron kasi kaming case na FGD kami nung, I guess that's 2018. Yung newly hired teacher, should share mutual goals, work collaboratively, they should understand what the beginner knows and what the mentor provide. Yan, importante ito ano, para sa mga school head. Ano yung kayang bigay ng mentor at ano yung kulang pa dun sa mentee, parang ganun. Develop an openness or rapport enabling two people to agree or disagree with the meeting. Then protect some on-the-job time for needed dialogue. Then establish regular time for some pre-planned meetings together. Of course, this will depend on the mentor and the mentee. No? Kaya dapat yung relationship ng dalawa talagang dapat na-establish. Kasi kahit online naman, pwede silang mag-usap. Something like that. Alright, in terms of organizing the learning action cell, actually this is just a recall of our Dapat Order 25 para dun sa ating LAC. Ano po? Alright. So the school heads can organize the LAC among the teachers, including the beginning teachers, such that each LAC composed of no more than 15 members. Alam niyo na po yan. Then this senior teacher refers to is master teacher, head teacher, department head, and other senior teachers. Right? The LAC facilitator shall closely coordinate with the school head. Then the LACs in the context of PIP will be the support system. Kailangan po nito. Actually, I monitored one school in Mindanao. Talagang ang strong ng LAC nila, no? Iba pa yung LAC nila dun sa grade level. Then meron din silang LAC for PIP.
Well, research.
Yun, talagang in-establish yung school head yung LAC for PIP.
Experiment.
So, na-surprise kami doon kasi, di ba, ina-expect namin parang isa na lang, parang ini-integrate na lang kasi yung iba eh, yung PIP sa kanilang LAC. Pero itong school na to, talagang merong LAC yung para lang sa PIP, para lang sa mga newly hired teacher. So in a way, yung mga teacher talagang naging komportable sila sa lahat ng bago, binigay ni teacher lahat, may pagkain, pag naglalak, ano tuwing then maganda ng performance ng mga newly hired teacher. Alright, so the SDO through their division and supervisor shall serve as the LAC coaches to the LAC tutors. Yeah. Kaya po nasabi ko, this is just a review of the Dapat Order 25. Alright, in terms of expenses, ayan, parang ito ay parang Dapat Order 43 din po, relative to the implementation of the program should be charged to the following. We have HRD, Regional Training Fund, Division Training Fund, and then school and OO. Right? So I guess this is my last slide. Yan. So thank you for listening. Pasensya na po kayo, medyo matagal. And some of your queries relative to roles and responsibilities will be addressed later sa ating Q&A portion. Right? So that's all. Good morning po sa ating.
All right, so good morning, Mr. Jason. Thank you so much for your discussion of the roles and responsibilities. Dear friends, we shall be having a 5-minute health break. Time now is 10:25. Be back at 10:30 for more of the orientation on the pilot implementation of IPBT or enhanced TIP.
Recording stopped.
Welcome back at the orientation. And at this juncture, let us listen to the discussion on IPBT quizzes under PDLMS by our fellow servants in NEA PDD, Sir Florentino Baron Jr. and Sir Georgette Gabriel.
Thank you so much, Ms. Riza. So at this point of our orientation, me and my colleague, Sir Georgette Gabriel, will explain some of the things that you have to remember and things that we need to know about the exit quizzes of IPBT, which is now uploaded in the PDLMS of the event. So moving forward, next slide. There. So good morning again, everyone. So these are the things that we have to remember concerning the exit quizzes of IPBT, again, which is now accessible in the PDLMS. The first one is teacher must accomplish its course book and required outputs offline. So please do remember that the only thing that we will be accessing in the PDLMS are the exit quizzes. The course books and required art outputs are still required to be done offline. So katulad po ng diniscuss kanina nila Dr. Levy and Sir Jace, course books can be printed or it can be given using a link, and this is not, again, uploaded in the PDLMS. The next bullet is uploaded in the PDLMS, again, are the sum assessment or the exit quizzes of the 6 course books and not the course books itself. Third bullet, this is very important po. The beginning teachers must make an account in the PDLMS using their DepEd email addresses. So please do remember by the way, we are planning to open the access of the exit quizzes of IPBT. We will have a depth address. Next bullet is exit quizzes are year performance of the 3-year implementation of IPBT. As what we have heard in the discussion of earlier, the induction program for beginning teachers will run for 3 years, and taking up the courses and passing all the assessment or the exit quizzes is just part of the year 1 implementation. Next one is exit quizzes per course book has 2 sets. I saw in the chat box earlier that there is a question regarding the number of times that the mentee can take the exit quizzes. So this is the answer to that question po. Exit quizzes per course book are given 2 sets, set A and set B. And there is a maximum of 2 attempts per set. So meaning, let's say teacher took set A, he or she is given 2 attempts to pass set A. And each attempt is given a maximum of 1 hour to finish. So medyo matagal na po yun binigay natin for a 15-item question in the exit quiz, because we wanted to make sure that all teachers who are taking up the exit quizzes will be able to pass the exit quizzes. Next slide po. Now, the question is, what if the teacher failed set A after taking 2 attempts? That's the only time that the set B will be accessible. So again, ulitin ko po, set B will only be accessible if the teacher failed twice in taking set A exit quiz. Okay. Now, once they pass the quiz, the beginning teachers will receive the beginning teacher to be considered that he passed the exit quizzes. He needs to get, or he or she needs to get 80% of the rating on the quiz. And if he or she passed the quiz, a certificate is automatically generated. Teachers can use this as proof to be checked by their mentor and to be placed in their portfolio. So as an example of the certificate generated, that is what you are seeing on the left side of the screen. And finally, exit quiz for the next course book will only be activated if they pass the exit quiz of the previous course book. And when the certificate of completion is generated. So this is very important to remember. Let's say si teacher one is taking up exit quiz for course book one. Now, he will not be able to access course book two exit quiz if he or she did not pass the exit quiz for course book one because it's not clickable. Meaning, kailangan mapasa po niya yung exit quiz for course book 1 and nakapag-generate po siya ng certificate before the teacher can access the next course book exit quiz. So those are some of the things that we have to remember for exit quiz. Now, to explain further on how to access the exit quiz in the PDLMS, I'll be giving the floor to our colleague here, Sir Georgette Gabriel. Sir Georgette.
Thank you po, Sir June. Share ko lang yung screen ko. Thank you po. Dito po, ipapakita ko lang po sa inyo yung actual. Sana yung actual ng PDLMS natin ng TIP course book po. So, share ko lang po. So, remind ko lang din po ulitin ko lang po sa lahat po ng newly hired teacher natin. Ma-access po natin itong PDLMS po natin once na naka-register na po tayo under ng training.deped.gov.ph. So, kasi kung hindi natin siya ma-access once hindi tayo nag-register mismo dito sa PDLMS. So, once na naka-access na po tayo, nag-login na po tayo sa PDLMS, doon po sa homepage, sa bandang baba, at makikita po natin yung meron po nakalagay doon na comms package. Sorry, hindi ko mapakita ngayon dahil yung access kasi ngayon medyo nag-system maintenance po kasi tayo, system update. So, remind ko na lang din po sa lahat na once na magtitake tayo ng course book within 10:30 to 12, may time po kasi na nagsi-system update po ang ating PDLMS. So, wag po tayo mag-galala kung dagitnaan po tayo ng pagsasagot, biglang mawala. Ang mangyari lang din po is ulit lang din po tayo dun kung saan po tayo na-stop pag-take ng course po. So, pwede po natin siyang balikan. So, once na naka-in na po tayo sa under po ng comms package, makikita po natin yung TIP, which is ito po yung mismong view kung saan nandoon po yung mga courses natin. So, once na click po natin yung TIP, ito po, magpo-proceed po siya doon sa page kung saan makikita po natin yung mga course na titik natin, course 1 to 6. So, medyo wala. Once na makikita na set 8, course, po yung nabanggit kanina ni Sir June na kung na-click, mapapansin nyo doon pag nakapasok na po kayo, yung set A, course book 1, yun lang po yung clickable sa ngayon. Hanggat hindi nyo po makiklik yung set B o next activity natin, once na hindi po natin na-meet at least 80% per set, at yung nga po yung sinasabi niya, at least 2 attempt, and then 1 hour. So kung 1 hour naman po, na-meet na natin yung time, automatic po, kung saan po tayo natigil, isasubmit na po ng system natin yung mismong output natin doon sa course book quiz na tinitake natin ng time na yun. So once natatapos po yun at na-meet natin yung 80%, automatic mag-activate na po yung next activity, which is yung pong course book 2 quiz. So doon po, hanggang course book 6, ganun din po yung process natin na dapat gawin natin. So, once na hindi natin ma-meet, automatic mag-activate naman yung set B para meron naman tayong chance uli na makapag-take uli doon at makapag-proceed tayo to next activity. Same lang din po yung requirements, at least 80%, ang set A at set B. So, once na natapos na po natin yung mga quizzes natin, per quiz po kasi may marireceive tayong certificate of completion na pwede po natin i-share o ipakita sa ating mentor. Ito po yung actual na makikita natin ng certificate na included po yung pangalan nyo, yung pong quizzes natin, kung ano number po yung na-take nyo, and then yung grade, yung po yung binanggit ko kanina, once na hindi po natin na-meet yung 80%, pang-upper din po, and set fee, dahil na-meet natin yung 80%, nag-proceed tayo to the next activity, and then date issued kung kailan po natapos yung ating course book quizzes. So ito po yung katibayan na pwede natin i-present na complete nyo na po yung course book 1. Then may picture po tayo, at least may mga QR code and code po tayo dito sa left, sa right po, sa baba, na pwedeng i-verify ng ating mentor kung sino po talaga yung nag-take. Po. So, kung naman po kanina nabanggit ko at naputol kayo at naisip na nakalimutan nyo kung saan na po kayo naputol na course book quiz, pwede po natin makita yung ating course book status, kung ano-ano na po yung na-take natin. Doon po sa profile natin, mapapansin nyo, meron tayong badge ng per course book na matatanggap once na na-complete natin, bukod po doon sa certificate na kukuha natin. Sa badge po, makikita nyo kung saan kayo natapos na at pwede po tayo mag-proceed agad kung anong course book na po tayo po-proceed after po naman system update ng ating PDLMS. Regarding naman po dun sa certificate kung paano tayo makakakuha, automatic naman po once na natapos nyo po yung course book na quizzes natin, automatic po ito is mag-email din po sa inyo at doon nyo po makikita yung mismong certificate nyo through email na automatic generated na itong na magsesend sa inyo with mentor po. Ay, sa mentor po kasi 50% yun. Sa amin po, sa system namin, ma-detect din namin na send din po kayo ng certificate. Regarding naman po dun sa status ng lugar, kasi may mga lugar po tayo na nahihirapan tayo pagdating sa internet access. Isa mabilis pa yung data ng cellphone doon sa internet access natin. Pwede naman po natin ma-take, same lang din po ng process kung ano po yung nasa computer. Siguro po proceed po tayo dun sa browser ng ating mga cellphone para lang po dun sa mga info lang po, mga hindi pa alam kung paano natin i-access. Mapapansin nyo po sa browser po natin, meron tayong 3 dot nasa taas na pwede nating i-click. Click lang po desktop site. So, once na-activate na po na format ng ating desktop o sa computer, ganun din po yung ma-view natin sa mismo phone. Para mas kung ano din yung process at makikita din sa desktop, ganun din po tayo sasagot sa cellphone. So, isa po itong feature ng browser na hindi tayo mahirapan pagdating sa access. Makapag-take tayo kung kahit saan po. So, yung po ang ating course book. Tama po, Sir Jun. Mamita.
All right. Thanks so much, Sir Jun. And the importance that we need to require our teachers is to register to Professional Development Information System, or PDIS. And to give us an overview of it, welcome our NAIA registrar, Sir John Christopher Lopez. Sir John Lorenzo, are you here? Over to you.
Yes. Again, thank you. Thank you for accommodating us. And for the PDIS, we'll just give a brief overview, although Director Jan already mentioned of it. Basically, the PDIS will be very important for not only for the officials, but more importantly, for the teachers. Kasi yung PDIS po, again, once okay na and fully developed na si PDIS, will have a repository of data wherein those data, specifically professional development data of the teachers and the school leaders, will be used first in the decision making or planning of the PD programs for the teachers and the school leaders. Again, more importantly, for the teachers themselves. So ano nga ba yung nakikita natin in terms of that? We will use the PDIS as a platform wherein ipapakita na natin yung available courses for the teachers appropriate at their level. For example, considering the BPST career stages in the upcoming PD curriculum. And second, ayun, dahil nga makikita na nila yung mga na-take up nila and yung mga available courses, the teachers themselves can register and enroll directly to the PD program. We want na maging na ma-initiate within the teacher yung kagustuhan niyang makapag-participate sa isang PD program. Hindi yung we will gather some list of names, for example, and there are times pa na hindi aware yung sinesend, yung teacher na isinesend for a particular training program. And we hope that the PDIS would somehow change that. Magiging self-enrollment na ito based do sa kagustuhan ni teacher and do sa nakikita niya sa kanyang profile na kung ano pa yung kailangan niya, and related din ito sa career progression. Also, we want the PDIS for decision making, and we hope by making use of the data, we will improve more targeted yung magiging approach for particular teachers para ma-improve yung the quality of education. And again, yung professional development, we see this as a way in increasing the performance of the students by capacitating their teachers and mentors. Ang importance ng PDIS ay para mainly kasi talaga for data repository siya. And again, data repository, walang may store ang DepEd, particularly ang NAIAP, without the help of each other. So, we are also campaigning na maging religious in terms of submission of names and participation of the teachers to the professional development programs. In this case, itong enhanced Ipbt na yata yung tawag ngayon, right? Ayun, NAIAP expects that the reports, specifically the data of the teachers in terms of their names and performance, will be recorded and reflected. And again, we aim that the PDIS can serve as a platform wherein teacher can also see his or her progress. For example, nakatapos na siya nitong program na ito, makita niya na natapos niya with some, parang may particular rating din in that case. And later on, once okay na yung features, he or she will be able to generate some kind of a transcript of records. Parang ganun yung idea, ganun yung nakikita ng DepEd, particularly NEAP, para hindi na yung parang hindi organized and structured yung pag-attend sa professional development ng ating teachers. Again, we view the PDIS as a very important part, playing a very important part and role in this NEAP transformation by utilizing the available information and data. And we seek the support of everyone involved, particularly in ensuring that we capture all the necessary data that will be stored and used for our decisions in terms of professional development. So right now, merong for the information na po of everyone, mayroon na pong PDIS, although not fully functional pa. Pero we are, again, although hindi pa enabled yung self-enrollment feature in that aspect, we need the data already para ma-populate siya and makita na rin ng teachers yung participation nila to the recognized PD programs. So yun lang po, PDIS will play a very important part, most especially in the decision making, not only by the DepEd officials, but also, and more importantly, of the teachers themselves. Again, thank you for accommodating us in this orientation.
All right. So thank you so much, Sir John Christopher Lorenzo, for giving us an overview.
Okay, thank you so much. So that ends our presentation for today's orientation on the enhanced induction program for beginning teachers. So school heads, PSDSS, our mentors and mentees, you can now type your questions in the chat box if you have questions and clarifications. Okay, so I will be sharing to you all the materials that we have presented a while ago, and even the course books. Where can you access the course books? And the discussions about PDLMS and PDIS, I will be sharing that to you later on. So, participants, are you still there? You can now start typing your questions, your queries, clarifications. So, okay, for your attendance, you may log in on that link provided for your attendance. Please don't forget to log in for that link. And for the materials, you can access the materials. Okay, so for your enhanced CIP course book, you can access it at https://bit.ly/etip coursebook caps lock. And for the ETIP materials, okay, it is already flashed on screen. So visit those links for your guidance and references. Okay, so since there are no questions flashed in the chat box, so I presume that everything is clear and you are all already aware as to and guided as to what will you do, especially our mentors and our school heads, as well as our PSDSS, and of course to our newly hired teachers. So if you have concerns, questions, clarifications, you can always visit those links I have provided for clarifications. So since there are no questions flashed in the chat box, so I guess we are all done this morning. And I want to thank you all for your participation and keep safe, everyone. And please do work hand in hand in the implementation of this enhanced TIP to our newly hired teachers. So once again, a pleasant morning, everyone. So this is again Jennifer R. Intong saying thank you and goodbye.